Hello everyone! I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shaka and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate your support. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about anxiety and two techniques that I want to present to you that are extremely beneficial for anxious situations. So anxiety-filled situations, anything that you're going into. It might be a presentation situation, it might be a public speaking situation, it might be a conversation that you don't want to have, it might be any kind of social situation. If you're an introvert, any kind of social situation ends up being an anxiety-filled situation. And so anytime you're going into a situation, you're like, oh, I feel so anxious, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do. I'd recommend that you do either one of these or both of these techniques. And both of these techniques are extremely beneficial and extremely quick at alleviating anxiety. So if you're kind of going into the situation, you can kind of just quickly do these right before you go into the situation, right? So if you're standing and waiting for your turn to do the presentation, do one of these techniques, and then you'll be able to kind of go into it with a little bit less anxiety, hopefully, right? Because it does work very fast and it works very effectively for most of humanity. And the more you use it, the better it becomes, because you become better at the technique. And it becomes more and more effective the more you use it. So start using it, practicing it on a daily basis if possible, or at least a weekly basis, or as regularly as possible. So the first technique is belly breathing, or diaphragmatic breathing. And so, as you might know, as soon as we start getting anxious, as soon as we start getting afraid, we stop breathing. We'll kind of breathe very infrequently, or we'll stop breathing completely, and that's when we start panicking, and that's when our body's like, no, you need to breathe, and that's when we start breathing very fast in order to build up our reservoir of oxygen, because your body's like, panic mode. Or what we end up doing is we just breathe very shallowly. So we'll be breathing just in this upper part of our body, just here, our chest. You know how it is. You're just breathing here, and you're not getting any of your breath into your belly. And so, as I said, when you are feeling anxious and you notice yourself, I've stopped breathing, or I'm breathing very shallowly, what you need to do is take a few extremely deep belly breaths. So take in a few breaths where your belly actually moves in and out. So you'll notice it. That's how you know that you're breathing from your belly, is that your belly starts moving in and out. So you can actually place your hand on your belly. You can't see my belly right now, but you place your hand on your belly, and then you breathe in deeply. And you feel your belly really deep. You feel it moving in and out, right? And as soon as you start feeling it moving in and out, you know that you're breathing deep enough from your belly. And if you do that maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe 10 times, you don't need to do it for that many times, you'll notice that your anxiety alleviates in an instant. It's a huge benefit to your body, to your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, to your entire, psycho-mental structure. The entire body kind of feels relief from this kind of belly breathing, right? And that's one of the reasons why, when you're pregnant, or when you're giving birth, you're in the room and they tell you, breathe deep, take a deep breath. And that's the reason, because it helps your body relax. And that's one of the main reasons, one of the main ways you can have an easier childbirth, right? Well, this kind of applies everywhere. If you're kind of going into a situation where you're like, I feel like I'm going to puke, or I feel like I want to go to the toilet 3,000 times, take a few moments, take a few seconds, and breathe in as deep as you can, right? To your belly, as deep as you can, and as slowly as you can, right? And so you breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 8, or however you want to count it. Make sure that your in-breath is shorter than your out-breath. So your out-breath has to be longer than your in-breath. And then do these diaphragmatic breathing techniques for maybe a few seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then you'll feel a big difference in your body. Yeah, big, huge difference. Nowadays, whenever I'm going into a situation, a lot of times my parents are fighting, or there's a lot of anxiety or tension in the air, I'll do a couple of belly breaths before I go into the situation. So at least I can be the calm one in the situation. Even if everyone else is yelling and fighting and roaming around like a crazy person, at least I can be like, all right, breathe, boom, so you can actually be the calm one. And so that's the first one. And the second one is the power pose, right? I'm sure you've heard of this. previously. If you haven't, then it's a very, very powerful pose. And it's basically the Wonder Woman pose, the posture, basically where you stand with your hands on your hips and your legs are apart and you're standing like, your chest is out and your head is, shoulders are straight back, and you're in a power pose. You're in that pose where you feel powerful, right? And they've done studies, research has been done on this, where they kind of made people stand in this pose for a few seconds. And they noticed that there was an instant switch, a shift in the psychology of the person and also the neurotransmitters in the brain. So there's actually a chemical and a physical change in your body when you stand in a pose like that. Right? Because most of us, when we're anxious, we kind of like hunch over, we're trying to protect ourselves, we're kind of like going inwards, and obviously that causes your body to believe and know even more, think that you're in danger. And what does the body do when it feels like it's in danger? It starts protecting itself by doing all these random things. Well, you don't want to feel like you're in danger. You want to feel like you're absolutely and completely in control of the situation, which you are if you believe so, right? And so this is what I recommend, is that when you're going into a situation, as I said, right before a presentation or right before an anxious conversation or right before a difficult conversation, whatever it might be, you're going into it and you're like, all right, go to the washroom, go to the bathroom, I'm going to stand in my power pose for a few seconds. And it might seem a little bit foolish and you're looking at yourself in the mirror thinking, wow, I don't know what I'm doing myself. But if you just stand in that pose for even 10-15 seconds, you'll notice that your psychology will start changing. You'll start feeling a little bit better about yourself. You actually start feeling, yeah, you know what? Actually, this isn't that bad. I can deal with this. I can do this. It's okay. I have it. I got this, right? And it's not necessarily that you have to be conscious about the fact that, I'm changing my psychology right now. No, it actually just happens automatically because your body is in that stance. And it feels that power surging through you, and it feels that kind of resonance or vibration. Your body is vibration, and so it changes that the pose changes the vibration of your body, right? So all of a sudden you're feeling like, yeah, you know what, I can do this, right? And so I recommend that you try these two poses, these two techniques before one of your anxious situations next time around, or just try them on a daily basis. One of the things that I do when I'm brushing my teeth is I stand in the power pose. Yeah, I'll be brushing my teeth and I'll be like, I'm a powerful person. And I'll be doing affirmations in my head. Look at me, how cool I am. And, I can do this. I have a great life. I'm awesome. Things like that, right? And in terms of belly breathing, as I said, I'll try as much as possible throughout the day. I have an app on my phone that reminds me every 45 minutes to take a step back and to do a belly breath, right? Because I do spend a lot of time on my computer, and I notice that I hunch up and I'm writing and typing and all that stuff, and like my body is not feeling great, right? Like I notice my lower back hurts, and my breathing is like stifled, and it's just not good for me. And so every 45 minutes that bell rings on my app and it says, all right, it's time for you to take a deep belly breath. And so I'll take a deep belly breath. And man, it's just rejuvenating. It is as if I'm a new person again, right? And so I do recommend that. They're very simple techniques. It literally is, it'll take you a few seconds, and you're probably thinking, it's not that important, or it's not that useful, or it can't do anything to me. I'm different. Yeah, maybe you're different. Maybe it won't affect you, but try it. Right? They've done studies on people, and maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't, but you won't know until you try it. And so I would recommend that you try it before any anxious situation happens. So try it like a day or two before you're going to go into an anxious situation, so you know how it goes, and then you can go into it with that as well, with that attitude, right? Does that make sense? So try it right before the anxious situation, and also try it on a regular basis so that you know how it feels. If this makes sense, let me know with a thumbs up or a like or a comment, just so that I know that I'm not completely going berserk or crazy. And if you want more videos like this, let me know as well. Or if you have questions, let me know, and so I can do videos on topics that you like rather than topics I like. Although I'm fine doing either one. Again, I'm so grateful to you, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.